Howdy all and welcome to Lex Lives. I think it's time we play a little 7 Days to Die. Alright. What is that? Oh, I got an SMG receiver still on the old hotbar here. Get out! So, I know I said I wanted to work on melee traps, but I think I'm instead going to I'm gonna get some more water here, but I think I want to head over to the traders, and I've recently, because I don't look anything up, I like to experience the game as I go. But I guess there's a solar panel in the game that you can purchase from the traders, and I would like to go. You know, there's no reason for me to run over to this water. I can just get my bike, we'll swing by the water, and then we'll head over to the traders. Simple as that. It's not that simple, but let's go, bike. Don't run into that electric fence. Is this the direction for my water? I think the... Is this the direction for the water? I know there's water near my base. You know what? We'll find some along the way. Ooh, 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 ooh. I gotta be careful though, because I did not reset my bed. No, it's northeast. So I believe that's a trader. That's a trader. So let's go to this one here first. And then I need to mark those on the map once I confirm, because I'm never sure where I'm supposed to go to get to the trader. I also didn't bring any of my stuff. I should go back to my base and get my caps. My caps. I just watched a Fallout video. I should go back to my base and get my dukes, my chips, my tokens. Please do not go in there. Thank you. We'll see how this works. Yeah, it's pretty busy day today. I just finished with work. But I just finished with work for the week, so that's always nice. Or I think I finished with work for the week, who knows. I do not have a lot of tokens. That is all the tokens I see in there. That's fine. That's fine. I mean, I guess that's fine. Yeah, whatever. Okay, we'll just swing around this way. Alright, so let's head over here to what I believe to be... Oop, oop, I need you. That completed a quest! I had kill 5 stags on my quest there. I do not want this stuff. And you have not been unloaded. But you can take that meat. I have a lot of meat. Yeah, I got like two different messages today with people wanting to hang out with me. I'm like, come on, people, you know Thursdays is my relaxation night. Seriously? So I'm probably gonna go do that, I guess. I feel social obligation to hang out with people. I might even hang out with both of them, depending on Actually, I think the other one's gone. I don't know. So the one is my well, they're both in my gaming group, but the one guy that kind of runs our gaming group, he wants me to come hang out with him in his stream tonight. So probably gonna do that, and then the other one, he sends me some messages about a new version of a tabletop game has just come out. Dude, I'm trying to get through here. And he wanted to check that out. But because he can't make plans ever, he said, "Hey, you wanna maybe do this sometime?" So I don't know what that translates into. I was thinking we would do it tonight, but I just remember that he normally goes and hangs out with somebody else on Thursdays, I'm pretty sure. So it definitely won't be tonight. Okay, let's see. I have a generator bank. Well, I made a generator bank. That's not something. I might not be high enough to actually purchase the things. You might have to have some points, or you might have to have the higher points into his secret stash. Maybe. I know I don't have a lot of points into that stuff. Okay, I already know that. Did I grow hops? I wasn't sure that I grew hops. I should check my stuff and see if I grew hops. Okay, he does not have solar panels. See, I don't do a lot of trading, and so that might be why I never have seen. Okay, so I would like to add a waypoint. Bob's. I have no idea what his name was, but Bob's will work for me. And how did I get in here? Ah, yes. You got a tiny door. Okay, and then the next one is there's that one. I know there's another one out here. I don't think it's this one. It could be that one. So I guess I need to go... Oh, there's one right there. So I need to go directly north from here. Which is kind of the direction I'm facing, so... Oh man, we played our D&D Wednesday night, last night. And finally drove me to basically yelling at my DM during the game. I think that's just a cabin. So I don't think that's... Oh, what's this over here? That's not Bob's, but this round thing here is a cabin and not a trading post. I know there's another trading post out here somewhere, because I was surprised at how close that one was to my base after going to that one. And I should have marked them on my map. I mean, you saw how easy it was. I don't know why I didn't do that earlier. But, yeah, so we got playing last night, and he does this thing where he wants us to talk to the creatures. And, yeah, this is just some kind of wood cabin. That's not what I'm looking for. Alright, so that one's not it. You know, that one might be. I should go check that one. And so we're going along, and he has these conversations, and it always ends the same way. We have a sorcerer. Yeah, this is one right here. We have a sorcerer and his. Um, so different classes are based off of different stats, basically. So like healer is generally based off of wisdom, and a fighter is based off of strength. Or dexterity. A thief is based off dexterity. And so a sorcerer is based off of charisma. Alright, let's see if this guy's got any of these solar panels. I've seen them. We have one in the game that I play on a server. Oh, dude, you barely have anything. Oh, I was looking at your... Yeah, let's look at everything here. Nope. Yeah, that dude didn't have very many stuff. Very much stuff. Very many stuff. And, so the... Have I seen any other Bobs? What about this one? You think that's a Bob's? What is that? Oh. It's another bike. That must be one of my destroyed ones. Or I decided it was so far out I didn't feel like... How about that? I bet that's a Bob's right there. Okay, so I want to go south. Where am I now? Yeah, I should just go south from here and hit the road and continue south. And there's my bike. So because he's based off charisma, he gets bonuses to speaking rolls. Like that sounds funny. Not like we're in a play and he gets you know, he has better stage presence, so he should get the speaking rolls. No, nothing like that. You roll a dice for perception, or not perception, persuasion, and deception, which are basically it's a contest between you and the thing you're speaking with, and so you roll your dice, and then they have to roll to see if they can beat then what you rolled. And so he gets a bonus to that. As a sorcerer, he gets to add 5 to his rolls. My character is not so charismatic, and so they get like none added to their rolls, or maybe 1 added to their rolls. So I usually let him do the talking. Plus, I play other games of D&D, and this is his only game of D&D, and so I feel like he should get the most out of it. And so usually let him do most of our picking what we're going to be doing, and I let him talk with the bad guys most of the time. And so it usually results in almost every time while he's talking, he will say, and I cast a lightning bolt or a fireball or something. And then our DM lets him cast, and then we roll initiative and start combat. So by definition in the game, by definition, that is a surprise attack. It's surprised. The creature's surprised. It is not allowed to make a reaction or a okay, I need to go east from here. It looks like wait. West from here. And so by definition, that is a surprise round. There's not surprise round in the version we're playing, but there's surprise. A creature can be surprised. And so if he allows him to make an attack without the creature responding to that attack, that is, by definition in the book, a surprise attack on that creature. So, the thing is, though, is that he is out to kill me. And it is blatantly obvious that he is out to kill my characters. He has it in his mind that we are in competition. not so much the other guy, but definitely me. And so we get there and we're talking to this guy, and so I'm like, and my and this will show you how petty this is on his end from my point of view. And so I'm like, I throw my dagger while we're talking. And so he goes, all right. So my character has an ability that if I get a surprise attack, I get to double the damage. A dagger uses a 4-sided dice. So the most damage I can do with this dagger is like 4. And I rolled 1. So it doubled to a 2. And so when we figured out the damage, I was like, yep, I just did 19 damage. And he goes, no, it's 17. And I'm like, well, no, it got doubled. So I actually have a second ability that lets me roll 2 attack die, and I rolled a 1 on both of them. And so it was 2 doubled to 4. And so instead of 17, I did 19 damage. 2 points difference. Now the things we're fighting have hundreds of hit points. Hundreds. Well, not hundreds, but over 100 hit points. And so 2 points damage is nothing. I mean, it would matter if he actually calculated their hit points, but he doesn't. And so he just randomly decides when stuff dies, and it drives me crazy. But so he's like, well, that's. I'm like, well. He's like, no, that's a 17. I'm like, no, it's a 19 because I'm an assassin, and so if I get a surprise attack, it's a crit. He's like, well, it's not a surprise attack. I'm like, well, we're not in combat. And he's like, no, you'll roll for combat now. I'm like, well, if we're not in combat and I attack and I don't get to attack back, that's a surprise round. Well, I'm not gonna let you have surprise round because he was ready. He was ready for combat. I'm like, no, we're either in combat or we're not in combat. There's no other. It's it's a binary choice here. We're either in combat and we should have rolled initiative, or we're not in combat and I just surprised that guy with my attack. And he's like, well, I'm not letting you have surprise. I'm like, okay, well, then I'm not doing that attack. We're in combat. We should roll initiative. And he's like, well, let you have the attack. I'm like, no, we're either in combat or we're not in combat. You can't let everybody else take surprise rounds against bad guys, but because my character has a special ability that would have added 2 points of damage, I can't do that because suddenly, for the first time ever, they're prepared. Although there was one other time he told us we had a surprise round, and he just acted like it was a normal round. Or he usually does the opposite of that, and we get surprised even though, according to the items I have, I am not able to be surprised. I was so mad about it. So mad. I'm just like, whatever. I'm not doing it then. We're in combat. Let's roll initiative. I'm like, no, I'm not. You don't just get attacks. That's not how the game works. If it wasn't a game, it would be different. But it's a game, and it keeps changing constantly, the rules, so you never know how things work, and that's insane. It's like playing with a child. It's the same thing that my 5-year-old and 7 or 8-year-old, I forget how old he is, nephew and niece play. They play just like that, like in their day-to-day playing together. They start something and then they constantly change the rules. That's not how a board game or a tabletop game works. There's a reason we have handbooks full of rules, and that is so that you follow the rules. and he's always changing the rules. He did it last night with one of our attacks too, our combat things. We started into combat, and uh, we're doing the combat, and um, he he now we're hmm, the book tells you what to do, and he doesn't follow the book some of the time, and so he gets in there. All right, and we get attacked by a stone golem, and so on its turn, a bad guy gets to take one action, and it's got a list of the actions it can take. And so not that it made a big deal, and it didn't anger me like the surprise attack did. It seriously was just 2 points of damage, but it's the fact that he doesn't follow the rules, and every time something like this happens, he changes the rules. And anyways, I don't normally get involved in that early combat stuff. I wait for the initiative. But this time I got involved, and he's like, "Oh no, it only works for the other guy that way. Obviously, because you got a special ability, you can't do all that stuff." But yeah, I simply do not have the ability for this stuff. I guess that means I need to get some points in this, or I need to spend some points in his secret stash. Okay, that's a lot of bobs. All right, so let's take a look at my skills here. I'll get back to the stone golem thing. I wanted to see what. No, it's not treasure hunter. Although I did put 3 points in that because I couldn't find a treasure the other day and it was making me mad. What is that called? Here it is, Secret Stash. Secret Stash requires barter of 40, so yes. So what I need to do is I need to collect items then to sell to the nearest Bobs to run my skill up so that I may access the better stash so that I can get to solar panels. Alright. Well, then I will head back to my base, and I will look to see what kind of junk I'm not using that I can sell to Bob for points. I got a bunch of weapons. I can probably go through my weapons and clear out a bunch of that stuff that I'm not using. I'm sure I can harvest a bunch of crops maybe and sell those individually or something. But yeah, so we got this stone golem. And so in the book, and I have no problem with him increasing the difficulty of the bad guys. The problem is that he claims he's doing things that he's not. And so he says things that are obvious lies to make him seem more important or more generous toward us or something. But we know they're lies. Well, at least I know they're lies. And so in the book, it doesn't say anything at all about reducing the amount of XP that we would take, or that we would earn by killing this creature. And so after combat's over, or after the night's over, he tells us that, we got more XP than we should have because he beefed one of the creatures up to its full stats instead of what the book had, because we're higher level than what the book says we're supposed to be at to do this particular dungeon, and so he wanted to make things harder. But in reality, he made things easier, and he actually removed a bunch of the guys we were supposed to fight. And so we actually reduced the amount of XP we were supposed to earn in this dungeon so far. Because I know last week he took out like 5 different guys we were supposed to fight. And and he's like, "Oh yeah, I beefed it up." I'm like, well, I know that you took out 2 of those guys and 4 of those guys. That's actually 6 guys. Um, and so we fight this stone golem, and so the stone golem has a list of actions it can take. So it's got 3 actions. I don't remember what all 3 of them are, but one of them is it can take a multi-attack, which means it hits twice. One of them is it can cast slow. And so those are its two of the 3 actions it's allowed to take. And so, oh yeah, I got another thing in there too. And so the on the stone golem's turn, he had it take 2 attacks and cast slow. And he said he was allowed to do that because he brought it back up to its full abilities, and its full abilities allowed to do that. And I'm thinking, no, that's not how this game ever works. Your creature just took 2 turns on its 1 turn, and that is never how this game works. the only creatures that get to take additional turns, basically, are bosses who have, or like such powerful creatures that they get what are called legendary actions, and a legendary action takes place after someone else has taken their turn. So like the dragon, for example, takes a turn, and then after the dragon takes his turn, the fighter takes his turn, and then the dragon can use a legendary action to take a turn after the fighter has taken his turn. And he might get like 3 of those every round. So if a dragon is fighting 4 people, on 3 of those people's turns, the dragon will also take a small turn. Not a full turn, just they're legendary actions. I mean, they're not legendary turns, they're legendary actions. And so like fighter attacks the dragon, does like, 3 or 4 different things, and then the dragon can take a legendary attack in retaliation. Guess who doesn't do that stuff? Stone golems. And so it wasn't a big deal, but I did point out to the guy we play with in our private channel, I'm like, yeah, no, can't take 2 turns in 1 turn. Yeah, stone golems can't multi-attack and cast spells. Yeah. I mean, unless we're allowed to do that, because I totally would love to attack and cast spells with my cleric. That would be awesome. Instead, I get to cast 1 heal spell, and then my turn is over. I don't get to cast a heal spell and then attack with my maul. Because that's not how the game works. And so he also drives me crazy. With we have special abilities that you have a limited number of, and so he's always asking us how many we have left. How many of those do you have left? How many of those do you have left? How many of those do you have left? Oh, you used your sorcery points, sorcerer. Well, how many of those do you have left? I'm keeping track of them. Don't worry. How many of those do you have left? I'm using my bonus attack. How many of those do you have left? I'm like, well, I started with 5. This will be my 4th one, so I still have 1 more. Do those come back with a short rest, or... Dude, I'm level 10. Actually, we're level 11 now. I feel like you should have a handle on an ability I've had since the beginning of the game. Oh no. Oh, I gotta make fertilizer. Oh man. What do I gotta do to make fertilizer? Oh, I need human turds. Oh no, I can make it with rotting flesh in the cement mixer. 10 rotting flesh, 15 nitrate powder, and 10 dirt fragments. That's not. I mean, I don't have rotting flesh, but. Alright, so this is what I want to look at here. Obviously, I don't need all this animal hide. I definitely don't need all these pipes. I don't know what you can sell to him. I don't need all this leather. I definitely don't need all these pine seeds and maple seeds. Those are easy enough to come back. I don't know if he'll buy those. That seems awful cheap if he'll buy those. I don't think I need 20 mining helmets, so we can sell a couple of these. I don't need this football helmet. I definitely don't need 2 chainsaws. I don't know about the nail gun stuff or the auger stuff. I don't really have... I need to just clean some of this out. Let's look over here in my gun stuff, though. Like here, I've got lots of AK-47 parts, stuff like that. Will he take the parts? Oh, I have a full-on submachine gun. I need to break that apart. Also, this is a better sniper rifle than what I'm using. Alright, I got one more little short one here from last night's D&D game, and then we'll go. So, the book tells you, and obviously the DM can make changes. And once again, I don't have a problem if he makes changes. I have a problem that he doesn't apply them equally. It's really... It's a stickler for me, and it's been a stickler my whole life, is if there are rules, you need to apply them equally to everyone. And I guess I can tell a couple of quick stories here. So we'll do the D&D one, and then I'll tell you a school story. So D&D one, so there's this creature we fought called a bullet, or a bullet, or something like that, and it has a jump attack, and the jump attack requires it to jump 15 feet. And it has to jump 15 feet to be able to do this deadly stomp or deadly jump attack. Now, according to the book, the ceilings in the place we're in are 15 feet tall. A bullet is a large creature, which means it takes up 4 spaces. So that's 10 feet on a side. Now, I don't know if that makes it 10 feet tall, but it does make it pretty tall. It's at least 5 feet tall. My character, I think, is... My characters are taller than 5 feet tall, and the ceiling is 15 feet high. And so with the ceiling at 15 feet high, a bullet cannot jump 15 feet straight up. It has an ability called standing jump that lets it jump straight up 15 feet. And so he makes a deadly stomp attack on my character with it, even though it maybe moved 5 feet in the air. He also does this thing where he makes flying creatures fly just out of range, which also drives me crazy. Yeah. Anyway, so applying the rules. So when I was in junior high, and this will be quick. When I was in junior high, we were assigned a paper, and I'm a pretty good student, and I was a pretty good student then. I guess it got worse, so we get. Oh yeah, I didn't think you'd buy those. You'll buy that, though. She just gave me less money for the better helmet. Ooh, that was worth a bunch. I don't want them. You can keep them. And so, so we had this paper due, and I forgot about it. Like, that's not like me at all, but I just completely forgot about it. It wasn't like when I was in school, we went to school for 4 quarters, and so uh, and so every quarter we had a paper due, and it's usually a fairly in-depth, large kind of paper, and like a term paper, a research paper, whatever you want to call it. And so in this case, this was like some random assignment that we didn't normally get, and it was like assigned on a Friday and due on a Friday. And so we got it on the Friday, and then the following Friday it was due, and it was like 2 paragraphs or something. I mean, we're talking something that I was able to sit down and do in like 10 minutes at most. And I just completely slipped my mind. They never mentioned it again after it was due, and so uh, the teacher didn't like me. I don't know why, but she didn't, and she called me and several other students into the kitchen at the school to discuss with us how we had all forgotten to turn in our paper. And so there were 2 girls, and the 2 girls were told they had to stay in. We had 3 breaks during the day. First break was 15 minutes. Second break was lunch break, so we had lunch, and then you got like 20 minutes after lunch, for recess, and then later on the end of the day, you'd get another 15-minute break. And so, how did that do for my? How did that do for my skill? And so, I went up like almost 10 points there. Oh man, I think I need like one more point. I have 40 available, so one more point gets me another secret stash. I should have looked when I was back at the place. I could have looked and seen if we had access to it yet. So anyways, I'll finish my story and then we'll finish. So she looks at the girls and she's like, tomorrow I need you to bring in the paper. And I'm like, oh, cool. So we can just bring in the paper tomorrow. It's not a big deal. I actually had already done it by the time she brought us in here into the kitchen and had handed it in. It just wasn't there at the start of class, but I turned it in already. And so, because it was that easy, it was that simple of an assignment. And so the girls were like, okay, we'll bring it in tomorrow. And then she turned to one of the guys who was in there. There were like 4 guys and 2 girls. Oh, and me. So 5 guys and 2 girls. No, that's not right. 4 guys, including me, and 2 girls. So 2 girls were told to bring it in the next day. The one guy was told he would have to stay in on first break until he was done with the paper. I was thinking, really? First break? Like, the girls were just told to bring it in the next day. Why does he have to stay in? I didn't say this out loud, but, I'm like, this is weird. So then she gets to the other 2 guys, and so the other 2 guys, she's like, you two are getting 20-minute detention, which we serve at lunch breaks. And so tomorrow, when you serve your 20-minute detention, because you have to take a detention slip home, get it signed, and then you come back and serve the detention. So tomorrow, you have a 20-minute detention to do this paper and turn it in. And then she turns to me and she's like, you get a 45-minute after-school detention because you didn't turn this paper in. And I'm like, what? And she's like, well, did you turn the paper in? I'm like, I have turned it in, but I didn't turn it on time because I had forgotten about it. And she's like, well, there you go. it's a 45-minute detention for not turning in an assignment. I'm like, okay, but why did the girls then get no punishment? Why are we why are the guys getting punished but not the girls? And she's like, would you like me to add on to the detention? I'm like, no, I just would like an explanation of why you're letting the girls go with no punishment, and we have 3 different punishments for the guys here. I don't understand why my punishment is 45 minutes. And she's like, well, what does it say in the handbook? I'm like, I don't know. I can go get a handbook and check. And she's like, why don't you do that? And so I bring the handbook, check, and the handbook is, you don't turn in an assignment, it's a 45-minute detention. And I'm like, well, it's a 45-minute detention. And she's like, well, there you go. That's why you're getting a 45-minute detention. I'm like, okay, but those 2 girls got nothing. The next guy got basically nothing. These 2 guys got a 20-minute detention, and I'm the only one that got a 45-minute detention. And I don't understand why you're applying different punishments for the same infraction. So she's, yeah. I can't remember if that's one of the detentions I refused to serve. There were a couple over the course of my school career. I flat out told them they could kick me out of school. I wasn't serving it because it wasn't right. There may be a little of that as to why they didn't like me, but I feel if there are rules, they need to be applied correctly and across to everybody equally. And for a teacher to go picking favorites for the same infraction is ridiculous, in my opinion. And I feel that as I spent 14 years as a college professor, I might actually have some idea of how this should have worked. So, all right. Well, with that, let's go ahead and end it. So, click like if you like, subscribe, and catch the next one. I will talk to you later.